Life is unpredictable, and when we least expect it, we are faced with crises that seem to tear the ground from under our feet. How many times have you felt lost, not knowing where to run or who to turn to? At these times, the voice of fear whispers that the end has come, that there is no way out. But what if I told you that the greatest stories of overcoming come from these very moments of chaos? Hope is often the only thing left, but it is also the most powerful. It is like a flame that, even if small, lights up the darkness and allows us to see the path ahead. If you have ever wondered how to find the strength to start over, stay with me, because today you will discover that there is more to your story than this crisis you are facing. And the answer to this change begins with something simple but transformative: trusting in God and believing that He is always present, shaping your life even in the worst storms. Life is a mix of ups and downs, and crises are part of this journey. There is no way around it. But in the midst of this turbulence, hope emerges like a beacon, guiding the afflicted soul. God promises us that even when all seems lost, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Imagine a boat in the middle of a storm. It rocks, takes on water, but stays afloat. This is what faith is like. It keeps us afloat when the sea of life is rough. With confidence, each storm is a reminder that there is still a possible new beginning. No one is immune to difficulties, but how we react to them is what makes the difference. This is where spiritual wisdom comes into play. Knowing that God is present is a relief that brings calm. Think of a father holding his son's hand during a dangerous crossing. This is how God acts with us, always ready to hold and lift us up. Hope, then, stops being a word and becomes a conscious and active choice, a shield that everyone can wear. After all, crises pass, but God's love remains. When we understand that a crisis is part of a process, our minds open to see the opportunity for rebirth. Instead of thinking that everything is over, it is time to envision a new beginning. Like a tree that loses its leaves in the fall, rebirth is imminent. Those who embrace this truth find strength where before there was only weariness. And this strength, anchored in God and watered by hope, invites us to believe that better days are not a distant dream, but a promise that is gradually coming true. Jesus brings a promise that goes beyond momentary relief. He offers a transformation that gives new meaning to existence. When someone chooses to walk with Him, they discover that life does not have to be a series of meaningless battles. It is like opening a door that reveals a new horizon, where trust in God renews strength and plants hope in the most exhausted hearts. This new reality, made of faith and love, is a safe haven amid the storms that insist on blowing against us. In this walk with Jesus, we realize that He does not promise the absence of challenges, but rather assures us of His constant presence. Those who have faced the loneliness of a crisis know the difference it makes to have firm support. Jesus is the support who strengthens and sustains, even when the ground seems to be missing. This new life is full of wisdom that allows us to see difficulties with different eyes, no longer as punishments, but as opportunities to grow. And this changes everything, because the certainty of divine care brings peace. Applying this to your daily life can start with small steps. Moments of prayer, meditations on biblical passages such as Psalm 23 or even Psalm 91, which is a true shield for the heart. When you choose to live this reality, even the simplest moments, such as a pause to reflect in nature, take on a deeper meaning. This is the power of a life renewed in Christ. Seeing beyond what meets the eye and believing that tomorrow holds promises of renewal. Growth is more than a mere reflection of circumstances. It is a deliberate choice that requires courage and determination. In the midst of difficulties, it is easy to give in to discouragement, but those who choose to grow see these moments as an opportunity. It is like an athlete who, instead of giving up when in pain, sees it as a chance to strengthen their muscles and overcome. With faith and trust in God, each situation becomes a stepping stone to reach new levels of wisdom and spiritual maturity. It is not enough to simply desire growth. You need to position yourself and act in accordance with this desire. This could mean, for example, The practice of praying at dawn or dedicating time to reading the Word and finding inspiration in figures like Joseph, who prospered even in the face of adversity. When growth becomes a conscious choice, each step, no matter how small, leads to a new understanding about life and about oneself. This is the essence of trusting in God, believing that He strengthens those who are willing to walk. Growing through crises means protecting your heart from negative feelings and remaining firm in hope. It's not about ignoring the pain or pretending that everything is fine, but about keeping your eyes on what is eternal and true. The wise Solomon once said that of all things that should be guarded, the most important is a heart, because it is from it that the outcomes of life come. Therefore, taking care of your heart and nurturing your faith daily are attitudes that transform any difficult phase into a stage of preparation for greater achievements. True strength is not revealed in calm times, but in adversity. It is at these times that life becomes a testing ground, where each decision can transform a simple crisis into a springboard for growth. Anyone who has heard the story of David knows that when faced with Goliath, he did not just see a threatening giant, but an opportunity to demonstrate his trust in God. Thus, adversity can become mirrors that reflect our capacity for resilience and faith, shaping a new version of ourselves. Embracing the idea that difficulties are masters in disguise is an attitude that requires wisdom. Facing a setback with this perspective is like taking a storm and using it to propel a boat. Who has never gone through a moment when everything seemed lost and suddenly an unexpected solution appeared? This is God working silently, transforming pain into learning and hopelessness into new hope. And to do so, we must be attentive and willing to learn from each challenge. Adopting this attitude is not easy, but small actions can help change our perspective. When faced with a problem, instead of asking yourself, "Why me?" the question can be, "What does God want to teach me with this?" This simple change opens doors to a new way of looking at life, where confidence is strengthened and faith takes deeper roots. After all, adversities are just chapters in a bigger story, where victory is guaranteed for those who do not give up believing. When the storm rages, trust in God is the anchor that keeps the soul steady. Having unshakable faith does not mean ignoring reality, but looking at it with eyes of hope. How many times have impossible situations been resolved because someone chose to trust instead of fear? Popular wisdom says that faith can move mountains, and that is exactly what happens when you place your trust in God. Life takes on a new color, and difficulties become lighter. Maintaining this trust, however, requires practice and persistence. It is like building a muscle. It requires constant effort. Prayer, for example, is an effective way to keep this faith alive. In moments of greatest discouragement, pausing, closing your eyes and reciting a verse like, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," Psalm 23 verse 1, can bring immediate calm. This is the essence of unshakable faith. The certainty that even if the winds blow hard, God is in control. Trust in God also shapes character. When you live with this faith, your choices and attitudes change. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable are faced with serenity and even a touch of humor. After all, those who trust know that the final word comes from the Father. Small gestures, such as giving thanks daily for what you already have and saying phrases of faith in the morning, help to reinforce this trust. Thus, the impossible begins to seem like just a matter of time. To face and overcome these moments, it is essential to change the way you see difficulties. A storm may seem like the end, but for those who navigate wisely, it is just a different path to reach the destination. Having the attitude of David, who looked at Goliath and saw an opportunity, is what turns adverse circumstances into victories. Each challenge overcome is a testimony that strengthens not only one's own faith, but also inspires others to keep going. Practicing this in your daily life can start with small actions. When you face a problem, take a few minutes to reflect on how it can be a lesson. Write in a journal about the times you overcame adversity, and remember these records when your confidence seems shaken. Share with friends or in support groups how God has helped you in difficult times. These testimonies have the power to fuel collective hope. Remember, overcoming adverse circumstances is proof that active faith and trust in God are unbeatable. We have reached the end of this learning process, but true transformation happens when you decide to apply what you have heard. Are you ready to make this choice? Facing crises with hope and trust in God requires courage, but it brings rewards that only those who have lived through this experience can understand. Have you ever stopped to think about what your life would be like if, instead of fearing difficulties, you saw them as stepping stones to something greater? How about starting today? Share in the comments how you have found strength amid challenges and which teaching touched your heart the most. And if you still feel like you need support, don't hesitate to ask for prayer. We are all here to strengthen each other. If this content made sense to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you will continue to receive messages that can transform your way of seeing life and nourish your faith. Let's go together on this journey of growth and wisdom. God is with you every step of the way, so never lose hope. Until next time.